Hello everyone, welcome to our learning series of how to use Unreal Engine for architectural visualization. In this part, we'll be talking about the foliage system inside Unreal Engine. And this is basically the part that we're gonna start scatter some grass and plants over our landscape area. To start, first we have to download our files from the marketplace. Based on our previous videos, we have talked about that Megascan is now part of our Unreal Engine marketplace and they are free to use. So you can go to page 5 and download the Megascan Meadowback. Basically, this represents a huge amount of grass plants that you can use to scatter around your projects. Then you can also go back to page 4 and download another 3D plants that you will find also that will also be helpful in distributing some plants over the grass area. And after that, let's see, for example, once you have one of the download finished, let's see, for example, this one, because I already downloaded, so I want to show you what message you're gonna get. When you click on the free button, then after that you will receive a message to asking you to add to the project. So once you have press the free button, you can add to your project. Then it will start downloading the files, and once you open your Unreal Engine file, you'll find the Megascan folders have been imported inside your content folder. Alright, so we're gonna start by the Megascan Meadowback, and as you can see there's a lot of different 3D plants available here. So we're gonna focus on the grass as a start. Let's after opening one of them, you can see that there is 3 variation, which is good. You can add as many variation as you can, and if you open one of them, you can see that they are really nice grass plants, and there a little bit of animation on top of them. So how we gonna distribute this different types of grass on our landscape area? I have added this texture that I've downloaded from Substance Designer. It's a free texture actually, which help you to see the ground color when you start to scatter some of the grass on top of it. So it's gonna be available on the bottom of the free list of the material, and you can basically just drag and drop it on the area we're gonna start with. Okay. So the main idea or the technique that we're going to use to distribute the grass on our landscape area is the paint foliage system inside Unreal Engine. And this is a category of tools that will help you to distribute your grass using a paint tool, and there's going to be a lots of settings for you to choose between. So to add one of the grass plants inside the painting area, as you can see there are like 5 different categories. The paint, where you're gonna specify the brush size, and once you have one of the plants and you click on it, you'll see some of the options that you can adjust, like the scale. You can change the scale over the paint process, so you can have different type of scale as a random attributes. And the second one is the replace settings. After, if you have already painted your foliage system, you can change the settings here. And the select to select your plants, and a lasso to choose some of the plants together, and the paint tool that will help you distribute a huge amount of the grass or the plants that you want to scatter. So let's start again by dragging one of the grass plants inside the paint area here. Once we click it, you'll find that you can see the mesh and then the density of the paint. So if you start painting your grass, you're gonna see that your grass started to get painted on top of the area that you're painting on. And some of the options that are really more very important for you to focus on is the mobility of your grass. This is very important because we have to define how our foliage system is gonna be calculating during the build, the lighting build system. If it's a static, that means Unreal Engine have to start calculating light map density on top of each plant of these, and this is almost impossible to be handled by even one of the topest powerful graphic cards or the CPU, because the amount is gonna be huge. So make sure to determine they are movable. Okay, so there's a lots of categories of parameters that you can go through adjusting them while you paint, but let's focus on the main important elements for our project here. So the density represents the amount of grass you're gonna paint for each time you're gonna scatter some of them on the area. So if I increase the density, let's say for example for 300, you'll see that the amount that you're scattering is increasing. If you increase it for like more, or let's say 800, the amount is gonna increase. Okay, so let's say for example you're gonna start scatter this grass on top of this area, and by mistake you have scattered some of the grass on the unwanted area that you don't want to add grass on top of it. So we have to find a way to see how we can avoid this. If we start, for example, if you have to go back, so you can choose your objects by going back to the place category. If you hide by clicking H and focus on this area, for example, you're still gonna see that the paint is reading the heading geometry and the painting process. So to avoid this, this is what we have to do. Click the mesh or the object that you don't want the grass to appear on top of it, and go on the right here in the right panel to the details of this object. Double click the static mesh and move down to the option where it says collision preset. Currently it's defined as block all, so we're gonna make it overlap all and save. And let's try again. So if we start painting, as you can see, it's avoiding the area that we have defined as an overlap. So I'm gonna also choose the drive-through area. I'm gonna make it also overlap all and save. And maybe this also. Okay, it's already made. That's good. Okay, so to start scattering some of the grass, let's choose some of them actually that we have here. So I'm gonna start from grass 1, and the thing I forgot to mention is that Megascan have provided a level of detail category for each plant. So LOD represent the level of details for each object. 0 is the highest quality, and 3 is the lowest quality, where it's a very low polygon count. Because our project is basically an Arch-viz project, and we want to focus on the realistic look of our material and our objects, we're gonna drag only the level of details 0 for this process. So I'm gonna go again to variation 2, drag another one, and also maybe from variation 3, and let's go also for grass 2, drag some of these so we can have at least some of the variation. Alright, so we have 5 different type of grass. I'm gonna make sure that they are assigned to the movable mobility. Okay, and let's see, once we start painting, to make sure that all of them are ticked, So the paint tool will read all of the grass plants while scattering them on the object. So it's gonna be a process that you're gonna continue doing and increasing the density. But there is also another way of doing this, a much quicker way, because you're gonna lay down first the grass on top of the sand area. I'm gonna go to the paint bucket and make sure that I have chosen all of them, and if I click just one click, I can see that it's have distributed the grass on top of the whole area. But there are a few empty areas, so I'm gonna decrease the density for each of them. Let's say for this one like 300 and 200, and let's say for this also 250, for example. 200. Let's try again now. So we still have an empty area, so I'm gonna increase this, and this one, click again, maybe 500, and this one also, let's say 400. So there's a few empty areas that you can keep increasing your density level, so you can avoid having any gaps between the grass. I think this is enough for now. So we can start now looking at our grass and see if it's good enough for us to start visualizing with it how it's gonna look like. Alright, so I think this is fine for now. So again, we have used the paint bucket tool to distribute this whole area, or the whole area that we have defined, that's gonna have the grass on top of the landscape area, and then we're gonna start to see if we can scatter a different type of plants on top of the grass, but using the paint tool to just scatter a few of them. Alright, so the first thing also you're gonna notice that your viewport is starting to get a little bit different, a little bit heavier than before, because if you look here, our on the place category, if you choose the paint object that you have scattered on top of the project and hide them, as you can see, it's a little bit lighter. So we're gonna click on Control Shift H to see our frame per second, and it looks like it's getting a little bit slower in terms of the frame per second movements inside the project. This is where you have to start organizing your workflow. If your target currently to produce images or animations, the frame per second actually is not something that you need to worry about, because as you're gonna see in our next videos, not the videos that we're gonna focus on producing the animations, the frame per second actually doesn't represent an issue, because when you extract the video from the Unreal Engine, it's basically creating the render based on a frequency of images. But it's really important in terms if you're gonna produce a real-time, let's say you're gonna send your client a real-time presentation of a work in progress or a final version of your project, it's really important to focus on our frame per second. And that's why it becomes the level of details is one of the important tools that you're gonna focus on when you start scattering your grass. So the amount of the frame per second depends on what exactly you want to get from Unreal Engine. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna start with is adding a little bit of let's say for example some leaf bile, and this is basically a few dead leaves on that you can scatter anywhere on the project. For example, we want to scatter them on top of this area, so I'm gonna go to the paint category tool again and drag this one, and before I start to paint them here, I have to make sure that I'm disabling all the grass that I don't want to paint it on top of this area. Again, make sure that it's on mobility, and the mobility is on movable, so the light build system will avoid building any light map for this process. So we need to activate the paint on the drive-through area again. So I'm gonna double click the static mesh and then just go and make it block all, save, and again just start a little bit of the paint, and I'm just gonna make sure that I want to make it as less as possible. So if I paint here, you can see that it's painting on top of the whole area. But there is another technique also, that is, if you activate the single instance mode, it will only scatter one on a time of this leaf pile. So let's say, for example, you want to make it on this area, and let's say, for example, by clicking here or there, and you're gonna start having a bunch of them on top of the road, like they have been falling from the trees or something. And you can actually also add them on top of the grass. It's gonna be difficult to see them, but if you make a closer look, you can see that they are appearing between the grass. Okay, so what else we can paint on top of the grass? There's also some clovers, I think. Now the clovers actually represent very small plants that are detailed, also part of the detailed plants with the grass. But I want to focus, sorry about that, I want to focus on the taller grass plant. So let me see one of these guys. This can represent something nice that you can scatter also. So let's add it to our grass distribution. I'm gonna add it here. I'm gonna remove the single instance. Make sure also it is movable mobility. Let's see, it's a little bit not really visible. So this is where I'm gonna increase the scale for the painting, and the scale factor for the painting foliage system is composed of two parameters. One is the minimum and one is the maximum, obviously to help you get like a variation of your scale over here. So if I put this to 2 and the other one for 3, for example, let's put it on a single instance and see first how it's gonna look like. It's really very difficult to see it, so I'm gonna increase it to a higher value. Yeah, not that much actually. Let's put it like 3 as a minimum and 5 as a maximum. Let's see, maybe 4, something like that. Let's go back again and choose another plant. This is actually also nice. So you're gonna keep painting your plants on top of the grass area and create your foliage planting system of the grass. And once you have done from the Megascan meadow bag, now we can move to the other folder of the Megascan plants that we have downloaded, the lush plants. And this is one of the interesting plants where you can see lots of them actually here. So I think there's one as a palm, or maybe we can go to a more tropical palm. This one actually is more interesting. So drag it inside the painting list and make sure to make it as a single mesh. Let's see the scale of it. I think this represents a very nice plant on the corners somewhere here, roughly maybe around this. So we can also I think maybe we did not adjust it to be a mobile. Yeah, it is mobile actually. So can increase the scale, make it, let's say, minimize it actually, and one over here, another one, let's say on this area, maybe a little bit smaller than that. And the interesting thing is that you can actually select one of them if you have fewer plants, and you can actually adjust them manually as you wish. Okay, another plants actually we can use here is in the first folder is these plants, which give you a very nice effect of your on your workflow. So I'm gonna drag this one also. Let's make sure it's movable, and let's paint it as a single mesh on top of this area. Okay. Alright, so another one maybe here. Maybe drag this one also, last one, and disable the first one. This was actually the first one. Okay, so now that you have your grass scattered, I'm sure when you start applying the same thing, and when you spend more time on it, creating more variation of the plants and the grass, you're definitely gonna have a better look of this thing. So I'm gonna go to the camera scene that we have here, and as you can see, if I maximize our viewport, we can start to see a little bit of interesting look of our building with the current foliage system that we have scattered. And to get a better resolution and everything, we can click on the small arrow and increase the screen percentage, for example, double it by 200, and there you go. You can start to increase the effect of the depth of field on top of the scene. Let's say, for example, if we go a little bit further, things starting to look more interesting in terms of how things are interacting with light and everything. If you increase the lighting, let's say we're gonna increase it like 60 or 80, for example, maybe yeah, the more light you have, the more details and effect of the sun on the grass. So if we choose again our camera, choose to focus on this area and maximize, see that what Megascan have created for us and how Epic Games have provided this free package of library for us is helping us to create really interesting look of our scenes. So I hope you guys have gained enough information of how you can manipulate the grass, foliage and painting system, and let me see if you have any problems so far with using these tools, or any difficulties, so I can get back to you about it. In our next video we'll be speaking about the trees, and our software of creation will be Speed Tree. So we're gonna also discuss how we can get an interesting realistic trees on our project, and how we're gonna start and playing with the wind system. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you very much. See you in the next video.